Warzone cheaters keep finding ways to ruin your matches, but how bad is the situation really? Today we're diving deep and discovering what's really going on behind the scenes. To do so, we're going to be taking a look at a video by the exclusive Ace. The title of this video is The Beginning of a New Era of Anti-Cheat. Now you might be saying to yourself, Expel, we know the anti-cheat, it sucks, what are we going to do about it? Well, apparently there's some big changes that are happening to it that may actually improve it over time and maybe change the way anti-cheats work overall in the future. However, before we dive into this video, what I want to go ahead and do is take a look at some of the comments down below in this section right here. And the reason why is because I kind of want to get a feel of how the community is dealing with these situations. So let me go ahead and zoom in just a hair. Oh, whoa, we are way zoomed in. Oh my God, look at all this. Okay, so off rip, we have a comment from Red Dead Character Creations that says, I feel like cheating has seriously harmed the entire gaming industry altogether with recent technological advancements. That's true. AI in cheating has changed it immensely. It has gotten so much harder to detect and it's so much faster to beat the anti-cheats, which is why, while I don't want to say, you know, Activision has an excuse, I do understand that it is so difficult to get things properly working, and that's why other games have not focused on using AI to detect AI, because it's just a pointless battle. But they followed it up by saying, 15 years ago, I feel like a modder or a hacker in your game, no matter what you were playing, was sort of like a unicorn event where it was almost fun to see what kind of crazy stuff they were going to do to the game. But now, no matter what game you're playing, it's like there's someone hacking every single time you play, and some games currently in live service, it's hard not to have someone hacking in the match. It's gotten to the point where it's almost ruining gaming entirely for me. And I think that guy's got an incredible point. I think gaming is at a point where it's similar to pretty much everything going on in life. Everybody wants to feel like a victim. And this is a roundabout way. And I know that some people get upset whenever I bring this up, but that's the reality of it, is everybody in this world, we like as a generation, we're kind of we grew up with our parents telling us, hey, you know, you're special. The reality is we're not. There's like 9 billion people on the planet. Like there's billions of people on the planet. Someone out there is not only better than us at everything that we do, but they're almost the exact same looking at it as us, which is crazy to say. There are people that look just like me out there. Like it does not matter. You are not special. There's no there's nothing wrong with that. Living life knowing that you're not special, this is way too deep, is almost better, because you don't have to carry that weight to be different. You also don't worry about this like victim mentality where you feel like you have to be winning, or if you're losing, then the other guy is cheating, and so you have to cheat so that you can be on the same playing field. And it's just all so very weird in the world now, and with these tools at our hands, at our disposal, to be able to cheat at any point in time, it's hard for a lot of people to not want to do that. Just like you're seeing in a lot of different states, there's people that just go in and steal stuff. Hey there, Editor Expel here to remind you to double check you are subscribed. Anyway, back to the video, like all the time. And I mean, obviously a lot of this is a mentality thing, but you're seeing this everywhere. The whole world, like the more people there are, the more people are going to do bad things. So you're going to see that we're slowly doing this over and over and over, because it's hard to fight back whenever there's an overwhelming number of people that just do bad things. Now moving down, Turk to this video said, I'll believe it when I see it. They hyped the Ricochet update like crazy for 2 whole seasons. Then when it finally came out, it didn't do jack shit, which I firmly disagree with. Look, I'm not here to give that gobble on Call of Duty's anti-cheat, but for the first couple of weeks, it did incredibly well. But as of lately, it's not been doing incredibly well. And to that point, I would like to bring up that recently I actually posted this video. I bought Warzone's most expensive bundle, and it's, thank you, Axel, for that title. I posted this video. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what happens in this video, and then we're gonna dive right into the exclusive Ace video where he discusses, and hold on, let me just, where he discusses all the changes that are coming to the anti-cheat. So let's see what happens here. So right here, you can see that I'm fighting a guy outside the building. And I go to shoot this guy, and what I want you to pay attention to is the fact that I threw a smoke grenade, okay? And how smoke grenades work is that you lose aim assist on the edge of the smoke. Where I threw the smoke, I'll show you one more time. I popped the smoke right here. We're on the edge of the smoke. I don't have aim assist. Oh, I'm sorry. You can't even see it. I don't have aim assist right here. I'm so sorry. We're going to go back. That's my bad. I come through. I shoot. Pop the smoke. The smoke's over here. Sure. 100%. 100%. But if I don't have aim assist on the edge of this smoke, he doesn't have aim assist on me. So right here, I missed some shots because I don't have aim assist. I just don't understand what's going on. And that guy was a demon. I was like, damn, that guy's crazy. You know, he's level 55, prestige 1. And the whole time, if you just watch what's going on right here, you can see that this guy, staring at me through the wall at the very beginning of it. I'm going to show you one more time. Look how wild this is, that he's perfectly centered on me. As soon as it goes into it. I just don't understand. We're dead center on the screen. What's going on? I'm pausing and restarting over and over. Right here. He is dead centered on me through the wall, right? And then he comes around the corner. It flicks to my body. Did you see that? The little flick to my body. As I slide, he's still staring at me perfectly through the wall, through the wall, through the wall, through the wall. And then he sees that I'm coming this way. He moves it off through the wall and then goes to the left. And as soon as I come through, you can see it hooks, like it hooks to my body and stays right on me. And there is no aim assist available on that. So obviously we're seeing someone that was cheating. And I will note this guy right here, Reaper, I got a confirmation of them getting thrown into limited matchmaking. Now that in no way is a confirmation of cheating. I need to say this on repeat. Cheating, we will never know. In limited matchmaking, we will know because it'll say confirmation, right? So just know that if you see a confirmation, it does not mean that they are guaranteed cheating. It means their systems are going to take a look at this player. That's what it is that they've hit a certain threshold of reports to where Call of Duty's backend system feels they need to take a look. I've been shadow banned. I've been put in limited matchmaking because I got reported so many times. My friend Pipe's been shadow banned. There's about 1 billion players that have been shadow banned. If you've not been shadow banned, that's okay. Hey, that's all right. You just didn't get reported enough in a specific amount of time. That's all it comes down to. It doesn't mean you're good, you're bad, you're anything. It just means within a certain amount of time. I've not been shadow banned forever. I'm not on some kind of whitelist. I don't have Streamer Plus or anything like that that, you know, allows me to press that number of reports required. And that's a whole other conversation. If you want to watch videos on that, I have plenty of them. But the point is, right here, this guy did get thrown into limited matchmaking. So even in my lobbies, after, and I don't know if I even have this over on my my Twitter. I wonder if I can go to my profile. Let's go through real quick and see if I mentioned how many cheaters I've ran into. Yeah, well, there's this thing about limited matchmaking, but I've not really ran into a ton of cheaters as of late. Yeah, I don't even think I mentioned it really, but I don't run into cheaters. I really, really don't. There's not been a time where I was like, man, I've been running into so many cheaters. And the reason why is because for the most part, I play solos. And if you don't know, in solos, cheaters don't hop in all that often. And the reason why is because they don't have that much reward for their risk. So these cheaters, they want to feel like they're doing something. And that's why you'll see them in ranked very often. That's why you'll see them in quads, in trios. Rarely in solos, sometimes in duos. But most of the time, the reason why it's like that is because they want to feel like they're doing something cool, even though they're still dog at the game. That's the reality of it. But either way, let's take a look at this video by Exclusive Ace. Let's dive in up here. I actually think, hold on just a second. I actually have this available in my downloads so that we don't have to go through his whole video. Yep. All right. So here we have it. Exclusive Ace right here. Let's check it out.
What's up, guys? My name is Ace, and we've got another Ricochet anti-cheat update with a reveal of a pretty interesting machine learning tool that I wanted to go over today, as well as some other Ricochet related updates. And on top of that, we finally got the blueprint swap feature that was promised for the beginning of season 3, but then didn't show up and wasn't mentioned at all, but it is finally here. And this is the feature that just allows you to mix and match various attachment skins from different blueprints onto the same gun. So purely cosmetic, but I know a lot of people have been looking forward to that for quite some time.
It is very interesting that sometimes they just don't tell us things, which really sucks, man, that they're just like, it'll be out now, and then nobody at Raven says a thing. It was actually Treyarch, to be fair.
And it's finally here. Now let's get into this Ricochet anti-cheat blog. And the first thing they mentioned here is they have shut over 25 cheat developers down since the launch of Black Ops 6, and they're continuing to work on that.
Not only have they shot them down, right, but we also got a cease and desist sent to Cronus, which is actually super great. You know, I'm very happy to see that Cronus got a cease and desist, and they are detecting Cronus now, but I'm telling you, they constantly update Cronus. It is not always detected. As soon as that device gets an update, you know, just like any other cheat company like that. But we'll see how it treats Cronus, because at the end of the day, and you'll see this with Hunter TV down below, they're selling these at GameStop. And most people go to GameStop to get random stuff for their gaming. People still think that GameStop's the best place to get their stuff. So you're not going to see it really stop with devices like this. And I actually mentioned over on, I wonder if it was, I don't even know who this is. It was Will. I actually mentioned over on my own tweets and stuff. Give me 2 seconds. You can see on Modern Warzone's response to this, he said, new Activision has sent a cease and desist letter to the manufacturer of Cronus hardware. And I responded and I said, I'm just waiting for the day that they don't let you launch Warzone with DS4 active. And if you don't know what that is, well, actually, I explain it in response, so I'm not even going to worry about that. It's not always for cheats, but I'll be damned if there aren't tons of people that have scripts for it to cheat. Always like your own tweets. And this guy said, can you explain what you're saying to a dummy like myself that doesn't really know what you're saying? I said, DS4 is a controller emulator usually used to allow people to make a specific controller work with a game that doesn't support it. In fact, there's been tons of people that use it to use like a Wii controller to make, you know, videos and stuff like that on Call of Duty Warzone in the past. Or I think, what's his name? The guy from Carnage that plays like a flute or whatever to do his videos. I've seen it on that too. He, I think, used WASD for certain things, but either way, it's a controller emulator. And I go on to say it has a ton of functionality and actually allows for a lot of different things to be done within the software that could be considered cheating. Things like anti-recoil scripts, things that help increase the aim assist that you get, all, you know, stuff kind of like Cronus, right? All stuff very similar to Cronus. From my understanding, it doesn't get detected in any way because Call of Duty doesn't properly support all controller types, which is an interesting thing to say because technically speaking, Call of Duty accepts your Xbox One, Xbox 360, Xbox Elite, PlayStation 5, but I don't think they accept PlayStation 4. I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure the reason DS4 exists within Call of Duty is because a lot of people still use PS4 controllers. Call of Duty doesn't necessarily support those through Battle.net. Steam also has its own controller emulator, but it lowers your aim assist. So I don't use Steam for that reason because it messes with your aim assist. So if you're ever trying to play Warzone and you're like, dang, why has this guy got such sticky aim? It's probably because they're playing on Battle.net, to be quite honest, and you're playing on Steam. But that's a whole PC specific thing. If you're on console, none of this matters. None of it. Not a single damn thing. So just don't worry about it. Like, look, your aim assist is just as good as anybody else's. It doesn't feel as good as anybody else's. I will say that. A lot of people get confused about aim assist on console. They think that it's worse. It doesn't feel as good because you're not getting as many frames per second. But your aim assist is just as good. It's been tested a billion times by a guy named Hexsmith. But it doesn't get detected because Call of Duty doesn't properly support certain controller types. Now, this guy is incredibly dumb right here. Poor Andrew Russell. He said, dude, DS4 Windows cannot manipulate game files. That is not the only way to cheat. You don't need to manipulate game files to cheat in a game. You know that, right? You can just have like macros and stuff that also are cheating. Right, you know that, right? So a lot of people just don't quite understand how it works. But this guy right here, Abyssian, anyway, said, Expel, I always wondered how DS4 scripts function. Is it like a Cronus where your rotational aim assist is activated all the time, or does it do something different? I didn't fully read that message whenever I responded, but I said not sure the accuracy of this, but I heard there were people at World Series of Warzone LANs using DS4 with another software to cheat. This is in no way a confirmation, but just through the pipeline type shit. Also, no idea who it would be anyway, because I didn't really get much more information whenever I heard that. I'm just trying to pass along the information that I was given. Either way, my point is, there's quite a few different things going on in the scenes that it is super weird with cheating, and there's so many different ways. But let's go ahead and talk about this man right here and what he thinks is going to get
They've also stated they've disrupted 150 cheat resellers by either shutting them down entirely or just rendering their software ineffective. Although in that case, if they're rendering the software ineffective, it likely just means the cheat developers need to find a workaround, create an update for their cheat, and then they're just back up and running.
Yep.
They also mentioned they've been ramping up their efforts on brand new accounts and looking at them with a lot more scrutiny, since that's often what you'll see is when a cheater gets banned, they just create a new account and they're back to cheating again.
Which is a very funny thing, because even those accounts, like he just said, are getting looked at even more. So they get banned, they get back on, they get banned again, which I think is the funniest thing ever. I don't know what it is about that, but the idea that this dude was like, dang it, I gotta make a new account. He goes through the like 20 minutes, 30 minutes to make his new account, like set up a new email, set up a new account, whatever it is, if he doesn't just have one on hand. And then he hops on and he plays one game and he's gone. That truly, it's just like too funny to me, honestly.
Again, on that new account. And they mentioned here, on average, from the period between Season 2 through Season 3, new accounts are banned within 4 matches when they cheat.
That's, to be clear, that is incredible. Because they're taking such a hard look at these new accounts, it sounds great. And to be clear, I realize a lot of y'all are going to be upset with me because it sounds like I'm taking things at face value. I am. I mean, I don't know what else like, I can't just conjure in. This happened in my last video where it really threw me off because I was not expecting that response from a lot of the viewers. In my last video, I mentioned at some point how Nadeshot had said that hackers are taking down servers, but Call of Duty directly responded to Nadeshot saying that, or directly responded, it was a response to Nadeshot is what it was, saying that from what we can tell, it is not a known malicious it is not from known malicious attacks. And I said, okay, so it's not that. So what is it? Like, what's going on? The servers are notoriously bad, you know, stuff like that. And the comment section blew up, bro. I was not expecting this. I thought it was very funny, and I respect the hell out of y'all for, you know, being hardcore out there. You have to take things at face value until you're given another reason. You know what I mean? So in this case, they're saying it. All right, I'm gonna take it. If it comes out and we can see that that's not the case, sure, I'm gonna completely change my opinion. Like, that's how it works. I'm okay to change my opinion. But as it stands now, there's just no reason for me to say, oh, they're lying, because there's no way that I could tell you if they're lying. Like there's literally physically no way for me to tell you, because there's no evidence to say otherwise. So if there comes out with evidence to say otherwise, all right, Activision, you lying pieces of garbage, you know, like, it'll be like that. But until then, I'm not going to sit there and be like, y'all are lying to us. You're lying. You know what I'm saying? So that's all it comes down to. So if you have any clips showcasing otherwise that prove something different, I'm happy to take a look at it. Don't think that I'm just like taking Activision's side here, trying to give it the gluck. Not my goal in the slightest. Okay, just so you know, I don't want anybody thinking that, because that was a big deal in the last video whenever I just took what they said at face value. My apologies, guys. I didn't know how hardcore we were getting out there.
And it is nice to see they're focusing their efforts on that, since that is a major problem with new accounts. But at the same time, 4 matches, especially if we're looking at like the Warzone side of things, 4 matches of cheating can really create a lot of chaos for quite a few players out there.
I'm not sure that they mean on the Warzone side of things. I think maybe 4 matches is like 4, 5 to 10 minute matches in multiplayer, and I bet in Warzone it's a little bit faster to detect because of the differences between the two. It's probably a little bit easier, in my personal opinion, to see if they're snapping to somebody halfway across the map. You know what I'm saying? But in multiplayer, there's a lot of different ways that they could just be looking in a general direction. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, I don't have any way of knowing. I'm just saying I don't think it would be that.
So that still seems like too much in my eyes. Although this is obviously just from a player's perspective. I don't know all the ins and outs of what goes into this. But 4 matches to me sounds like 3 matches too many. In either case, another thing they made a big change with the start of Season 3, which I'm really glad they finally started doing, is they started forcing players to verify they're in control of an account when someone tries to link a new PC account to an Activision ID. And the reason this is so important is since they focus so heavily on brand new accounts that don't have a trust score built up when it comes to their anti-cheat efforts, what a lot of cheaters will do is they will gain access to or buy an account from somebody that has gained access to a regular innocent player's account, typically somebody that only plays on console.
Yes. Okay. So this is a big deal. I get a lot of actually get an absurd amount of DMs saying, "Hey, I just got banned. I play on PlayStation. I've never touched a Cronus. Why did I just get banned?" It was not a false ban, and I'm super sorry. Your account was not secure enough. Someone got into your account, logged into it on a PC, cheated on that account, and got you banned. That's usually what happens there. So you have to be incredibly careful with that. And that's why it's always great to have two-factor authentication. That's why it's great to have a very high tier password that is very hard to break into. I know a lot of people just do like GG123 and that's it. You know, you need to have some exclamation marks, some asterisks, some parentheses in there, you know, make it to where it's absurdly difficult to get, make it a little bit longer, maybe like 10 to 12 characters for your password. Stuff like that's going to make a big difference in your security. And have two-factor authentication. Make sure you get those apps on your phone. That way you have it available to you whenever you need it, and you should be a little bit safer there. Obviously, there are ways around it. They can spoof certain things. They can spoof networks. Your literal network and your phone can just middleman it. It is insane. But just be careful out there. Don't be clicking links that you get. All right. If USPS says you have a package and it says .xyz, stop clicking that shit. All right. I don't know who needs it. All right. Stop, for the love of God. Also, completely off topic, but I am not going to send you a PlayStation 5. Stop going into my Discord and getting scammed by random people that are faking being me. Guys, we are not 97-year-old grandmothers that have never been on the internet. We play video games. We've been around. I am not a 37-year-old Indian man. This is not how this works, guys. Come on. All right. You usually, first of all, you can tell because my name on Discord is @Expel. That's it. Just that. That is my whole username. It is not @.expel_. That's not it. All right. Please. I love y'all so much, but I have gotten so many messages being like, "Yo, hey man, just wanted to double check this was you." Stop getting scammed, dog. My God, we got to be safe out there.
They don't have a PC account linked to their Activision ID. They gain access to that account with a built-up trust score, and then they add their PC account and start cheating on it with that reduced scrutiny compared to brand new accounts. With this change, though, from Season 3, this makes this at least much more difficult, or maybe even impossible for them to do this. And they've mentioned they've protected over 10,000 accounts that had potential suspicious account links.
Man, I just feel like... I am such an Activision hater, dude. I hope y'all know. I really, like, 4 years, I've done nothing but talk trash on Activision. But this has been just, like, such a beaut to watch. Obviously, we are not in a great place with cheaters in Call of Duty, but I have been very impressed with the fact that they're finally doing things that they should have been doing for years. And I realize that, like, I'm not giving them the brownie points by any means. But it feels so good to know, like, they're finally doing shit that we've been needing them to do for so freaking long. Man, I hope they continue, like, beating the shit out of cheaters to the best of their ability, and they figure out how to make it even better. But it does feel good to know that they finally started stepping up their game.
But we're blocked by the new verification requirement. And that part, I think, is actually some pretty big news. That's a good thing to be hearing about. I'm generally pretty skeptical when it comes to a lot of the anti-cheat stuff, but this particular issue that they've been targeting, I think, is excellent. And a big reason I like this so much is it really helps a lot of innocent players from having their account unfairly banned by someone else gaining access to their account and cheating on it. That's been a fairly big issue over the past few years where console-only players were getting banned, and then looking back on their emails, they noticed somebody added an account.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Since Warzone 1, bro. Since Warzone 1. I'm telling you, I've gotten hundreds of DMs saying, hey, will you reach out to Activision? First of all, can't do that. They don't give a shit about me either. I like, do not care. Just to be clear. Doesn't matter. All right, I'm going to keep it a bug with you. They don't care about me either. All right, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Without their knowledge, and that's why they ended up getting banned. Now, let's talk about some of the new stuff from this blog. The first thing they just did is they rolled out an expanded version of the death widget UI. So that thing that pops up when watching a kill cam on the top right of your screen that tells you if you were visible on an enemy's UAV or you had a weapon ping because you were firing an unsuppressed gun. They've now expanded that to include affected by heartbeat sensor, body shield on teammate, because that will give them a ping as well that could reveal your position if your teammate is being held by them. Affected by resurgence mark, affected by prox alarm, and then finally affected by most wanted target.
Now, whenever I was invited into the call with Raven Software and Treyarch right before Verdansk dropped, I actually said to Ted Timmons before he left us for Fortnite, Ted, you left us, bro. Anyway, I said to Ted Timmons, hey man, can we get like the platform the user is on in that as well? Because I want to know if this person is on PlayStation or Xbox. I need people to realize this, because if you didn't see it, by the way, hold on, we're gonna go just a second. If you didn't see it, I actually recently tweeted something out, which frankly was hilarious. But you may have seen my video recently where I think it was like 2 videos ago, where I ran into this guy. All right, Edward Sharp over on Twitch. And well, watch this. He's probably gonna peek. So first off rip, a lot of people are confused. Hey, how did you know that he was there? First of all, the car that I was in, this right here, I grabbed it right behind this truck. It does not spawn behind that truck. To me, that means there could be someone here. I need to check the building as I go through. I see this guy right here, top right here. I see his little head. It's a guy over there. And I'm holding it down. I'm watching. I keep watching. I back up. I don't see him in the window anymore. I see him peek that right there. You saw him in that center window. So I ADS. I'm right here. I move to the right. I flick and shoot at the same time so that I can back down, get my cover. I'm gonna chow this guy. I pop a smoke in so that if he is on controller, he's gonna lose aim assist. That's my goal, because I know that I'm better than him. I mean, I don't know, but I'm assuming. And then I see the guy cross in the center, so I ADS. He crosses, I get 1 bullet on him. By the way, terrible desync right there. I come around the right side because I know that he's gonna come out here. My guess is because I shot him, he's gonna try and jump out the window. This guy, what the f is that? There is no way, Edward, that you chose to crouch in a corner, brother. What are we doing? He crouched in the corner. You can see he doesn't know the layout of the building, which is chill, bro. He's a multiplayer guy, I'm sure. And he started shooting at the wall because he was like, how am I getting shot from the left? This guy
fucking hacking.
He thought I was cheating. So watch what happens. I pulled a clip from his stream.
Reinforcing arm.
Much love to the guy, by the way.
Hostile UAV in the area.
He still has me blocked, so I we'll see how this goes. He starts shooting the wall. And instead of watching the kill cam, which by the way, it says affected by unsuppressed, he doesn't watch the kill cam. He just goes to immediately start reporting.
No, hell no, dude.
He never saw it. He never even saw the kill cam, bro. So he doesn't get to know, that he's not paying attention to whether or not I'm killing him with an unsuppressed weapon. But let's say I did all that and I was on PlayStation. He wouldn't even known that, right? But if I was and it popped up right here like, hey, platform, PlayStation, or it shows Expel, PlayStation or whatever, then maybe people think again. I almost think that when you report someone that it should pop up and say, hey, it sends you an email later and you have to confirm your report. Because at this point, I think that so many people just report instantly out of spite that they died, and that they're so upset that they couldn't pull it off, and they play the victim. They're like instantly, he's gonna be cheating. Like, I think people need to get an email and be like, are you sure? You sure you want to report this? Here's your perspective. Here's his perspective. Are you certain? You still want to do it? That's where I'm at this point, is where like so many people are just reporting, and it makes their reporting pointless. Like, I don't think that everybody needs that by any means. I think maybe someone like old Edward here, not that he's old, I'm saying good old Edward. I think he may need that. So people that are known to just spam report everybody should probably get something like that. And then maybe that is weighted later on. But as it stands here, I know that his report meant jack shit because he's reporting everybody. As soon as he dies, he's just reporting everybody. He just got absolutely slammed. And I mean, it's just, the poor guy blocked me. I feel terrible that he blocked me, but it is what it is. Freaking Joe literally commented on exactly what I'm saying, which was, at least we have a more detailed call out of how you died in 8-point Times New Roman font on the right side. Clearly casuals read that you're obviously cheating. I said, this man has never even seen a kill cam. Doubt he knows they exist within the speed he's hitting report. Joe said his muscle memory isn't slide canceling, it's reporting players. Hot damn, brother. My goodness, dude. Anyway, I'm sorry. I thought that was too funny.
So that's nice. The more information they're providing there, the better. Next up, they've been ramping up their efforts against third-party hardware used to cheat in their games. So these are things like Cronus's or Zims, for instance.
Yeah, we're not gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna
jump with that out of the way. Let's get into the juicy part of this. This is their replay tech preview that they shared here. This is a new machine learning tool that they're using that looks at replays to weed out people, especially people using wall hacks. That's primarily.
I think this is actually relatively cool. I think this is a cool thing, honestly.
What they're targeting with this tool. And what they're showing here with these clips is your sus score. That's the graph on the bottom.
It's your sus score, dog. Hey, just in case you didn't know, it's your sus score, bro.
Bottom. What it's doing is measuring how suspicious you are in real time while the gameplay is playing, while watching these gameplay clips in theater mode. And from what I can tell here, breaking this down frame by frame, this sus score will go up as you aim closer and closer to enemies that you can't actually see on your screen, so through walls, for instance. And it appears you don't have to be aiming right at them for this sus score to start going up. You just have to be aiming close to them, like within a bubble surrounding them. And it goes up and stays up as you track that target through walls as well. And the more accurately you're tracking them, the higher that sus score is in that moment in time. And then with this, it looks like they'll probably take an average of that sus score throughout the entire match. So if you happen to be looking at somebody through a wall just through luck, or you're just guessing, for instance, maybe you heard a footstep.
I can already hear the dweebs that make those like AI videos, the AI like this guy's cheating videos. It's like, but why isn't it getting Breadman and Joe? It's not getting Breadman and Joe. Oh my God.
Or something. If you do that the odd time here or there, sure, you're gonna have little spikes of sus score, but it's not gonna be enough to give you a really high average sus score throughout a match. It's more so the people that are using wall hacks that will presumably be showing up on this a lot more, and they're gonna have a much higher sus score throughout a match. And then with that, they prioritize those accounts for human review. So this system will not be directly banning anybody. It just detects how suspicious the gameplay is and then prioritizes human review accordingly.
Which I think is probably the best thing, because you don't necessarily, well, actually my question is does that get them thrown into limited matchmaking, or does it still require reports? Like, that's my next question, is does the human review mean that, hey, you're in limited matchmaking until this gets reviewed? Because if so, that means that it could actually not be that great, because you don't want everybody getting shadow banned just, well, I guess it's a percentage of your game. I don't know. That's tough. You see, it's a weird situation, because cheaters try to hide it so often now. You know what? This is a interesting conversation. So I'm gonna go full cam here. Cheaters have gotten to the point to where, or anti-cheats really have gotten to the point to where they're actually so decent, right? I'm not saying necessarily Ricochet is perfect, but they're so decent that cheaters are now trying to hide it super hard. And I almost think it's worse that way. I would rather die to someone just like full-blown aimbotting and they're just like bam, 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 bam. All right, I'm moving on to the next game. I don't even have to think about it. That guy's cheating. Report, done. Like, I would much prefer to die to that than some dude that I have to like sleuth, you know? I don't want to try and sit there for 20 minutes trying to figure out if this guy's cheating. I had to break down every single thing that led me to report that Reaper guy that I talked about earlier, right? I had to break it down, and I did it in the video, and I mentioned it in the video, and everybody was like, yeah, no, you're right. I get it. That makes sense. But if I didn't do that, people would not agree with me because they don't see what I see whenever I'm watching these kill cams. I'm not saying that not everybody, like, I'm not saying everybody that plays the game is worse than me and they don't see it. I know a lot of people think that a lot. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying the likelihood of someone that plays 8 hours a day to make their content probably knows a little bit more than the guy that plays 1 to 2 hours a week. Like, I'm not like talking shit and saying that people can't recognize. I'm just saying I'm more likely to recognize more details that will lead to that. So my frustration right now is that people have gotten so good at hiding it that it makes it to where you need crazy tools like this. But I wonder how good that will actually be. Now, speaking of 8 hours a day playing, the other day I actually, and this is way off topic, the other day in that same video, or in the video I did about the Warzone's most expensive bundle, is that? No, sorry, not in Warzone's most expensive bundle. And say that this is Call of Duty ruined Verdansk. Right here at around 8 minutes, I said something, and a lot of people got upset with me. Like, a lot of people got upset with me. And it's because you took it out of context. I love y'all, but there were so many people in the comments that were like, I can't believe Expel doesn't like Call of Duty and he makes videos saying he likes Call of Duty. No, you took it out of context, you son of a bitch. I don't know if y'all know this. Listen to what I say, okay? Let's go back 5 seconds. Let's go, hold on, 5 seconds, come on. I've played BR quads casual for content. By the way, I don't know if y'all know this. I don't play BR quads casual for fun. I don't play Call of Duty for fun. I don't play Call of Duty for fun. That is an okay thing to say. Call of Duty is no longer my hobby. I do it as a career. That's it. Call of Duty is no longer my hobby. I do it as a career. There's not like a time where I hop on and I'm like, ooh, let's play some COD. I just make content, guys. So if anybody ever tells you that all Expel does is play BR casual, I don't even play Call of Duty outside of making videos. Just so y'all know, that's like, I don't play video games. I got better shit to do, okay? So many people took offense to that. Guys, I love you so much. How the f could you screw that up? Guys, the context of that is so important. I make videos for like 8 to 10, sometimes even 12 hours a day. Do you think that when I'm done, I'm like, shit, let's get back on the game, dog. This is going to be a great day. No, I just got slammed for 8 hours. Do you think at the end of that, I'm like, I don't even want to see my wife, dog. I want to just game all night long. Like, no, yes, I have better shit to do than just play constantly. I'm already on for a very long time. Yes, I have fun playing the game. You watch the fun in the videos. How do you lose that context? But man, I had so many people commenting. I was like, dang, I can't even take Expel seriously. He doesn't even like Call of Duty. I don't get it, bro. It's like, you don't get it because you closed your ears for half of the conversation, bro. Like, come on, guys, hear me out, man. Man, when I was reading the comments, I was like, bruh. It's just, man, I feel like some people just watch my videos and they just look for shit to be upset about. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what can I get mad about today, baby? Well, what do we got to be mad about today, baby? Ow! Anyway, I'm going to pull back up the...
And my assumption here, even though it wasn't mentioned, is that this is looking at players that have been shadow banned, so players that have received multiple reports, and a human now needs to determine if this player was cheating or not cheating, so they can either ban them or release them of their shadow ban so they can be back in regular...
So he thinks it's a shadow ban, just to be clear.
Their lobbies. And when it comes to this, I think this is a really cool tool, and I'm curious to see where this goes in the future. This looks like it's still a pretty early iteration of this. It seems like it's probably fairly basic at this stage. Like I said, basically just tracking if you're looking at an enemy through a wall and for how long you're doing that, and then taking the average of that to see how suspicious you actually are. But it's things like this that I think are the future of anti-cheat. Once we see big improvements to this over time and future tools that work like this but target other areas, this is the kind of stuff that's going to be a lot harder to get around once this technology...
Whoa! What? What was that? Nuh-uh, dude, look at this.
This is the kind of stuff...
Look at this, bro. Look at it.
It's going to be a lot harder to get around.
What? What?
Around once this technology improves drastically. Now, as it is right now in its early stages, you could probably adjust your playstyle to a degree to get around this by just making sure that even though you see enemies through walls, you try not to center on those enemies.
Yep. But cheaters are stupid. They're dumb. Look, I don't give a shit. If you cheat in a video game, you a bitch. I said what I said. Bitch. Your mama's a bitch too.
Keep them on the edge of your screen until they actually are visible on your screen. I'm sure players will have to play around that, but the more that you're forcing cheaters to do stuff like that, the more power you start taking away from them. You make it a little bit more annoying for them to have to go through all of this just to cheat in the game. And again, as the technology improves over time, I think this could be very effective at some point.
I want to know how effective making it annoying to cheat is. Sorry, in my brain, all I'm thinking is these people that cheat in video games. How annoying does it have to get them to stop? Because if they just took, the brain power and the time that they put into cheating and figuring out different ways to be able to cheat, if they did that and they took all of that and they just put it into being better at the game and thinking while they're playing, you'd be 10 times the player. How do we annoy them into not playing anymore? That's where I'm at. What do we need to do? Is that the best strategy? Because they're spending years of their life they're over here like, how to cheat in Warzone. My account just got banned. How do I get past my ban in Warzone? How to spoof account in Warzone. What is a DMA? This is how fucking dumb you look. It's insane to me, dog. You're writing that shit into Google. You're actually writing that into Google, bro. Like cheaters are so weird, bro. Could you imagine Googling that shit? Could you imagine actually Googling that? Bro, it's like that's some shit you got to look up at incognito because your friends are going to come over and type something in on your computer. They're going to be like, bro, you a fucking loser. What the what? What are you doing here, dog? You're trying to figure out how to cheat in a game that arguably is the easiest way to aim in any first-person shooter of all time? What? You got to cheat in this game? That's crazy. The hardest part about Call of Duty is skill-based matchmaking. Damn.
Right now, I'm a bit skeptical that this is highly accurate, but that's also why it requires a human to confirm this to actually.
To be clear, and again, I know I probably don't need to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm not talking crap if you're not good at Call of Duty. Just to be clear, I play an outrageous amount of time. Of course, I'm going to be better at Call of Duty, but my point is anybody that puts a little bit of brain power in trying to get better will be able to get better. If you don't have the brain power to do that, there's no reason to be upset if you're bad at a game. It's a video game. At the end of the day, this is you don't need to be the best. It doesn't matter, right? That's the point. But these guys that cheat, it just you already have so much brain power that you're putting into cheating. That same amount of brain power, if you put it into just getting better, I just don't. I don't get it. My brain does not fathom. Is it just that victim mentality? Is it damn it, I did what I did, it was cheating. I gotta cheat now.
Ban people. And since this is a machine learning tool, it will only get better over time. This is the worst it's ever going to be. And using it in the way that they're using it seems great to me. Although one big question I have here is it seems they're prioritizing the people that have the higher sus score. And if this is looking at people that are shadow banned, where does that leave the people with the low sus score that are likely innocent and should ideally be cleared of a shadow ban as soon as possible because they're not cheating and yet they can't properly play the game that they paid for because they've been shadow banned?
Hell yeah, Exclusive Ace. Hell yeah, bro. That was a great thing to say. My man is for the players. You know what, man? I freaking stand an ovation, my guy. Hold on. I'm not gonna stand. I'll keep it a bug. I don't have underwear on. I'm just wearing shorts right now. I don't want y'all to look at my junk. All right, don't judge me.
My hope is that they'll have a threshold for a sus score with this system, maybe after some improvement and iteration over time so they feel more confident with the system. But I think if this does
Y'all don't judge me. All right, I know y'all free ball at the house. All right, shut up.
become reasonably accurate and you're below a certain sus score after it analyzes your gameplay, then I think it'd be totally reasonable to immediately clear you of a shadow ban to
Hell yeah!
help streamline that process and ensure innocent players aren't stuck in a shadow ban loop.
Hell
Either that or maybe
yeah!
they should flip the priority on this. If you have a low sus score and you're shadow banned, I think you should be prioritized because it's more important to get falsely reported players cleared of that shadow ban than it is to ban somebody that is already shadow banned.
Somebody give this man the
So they're not affecting the regular population. They're already quarantined from the regular population. Let them stay shadow banned for all I care.
saying quarantined was a very eloquent way to say they're separate. That was great, dude. Call of Duty. Nope, can't say what I was about to say.
My primary focus here would be to clear innocent players of that shadow ban. Now, of course, that's just how I see the situation. Maybe I don't fully understand how their systems work here, but I do think tools like this are quite exciting, even if in its current state, it's not quite there yet, and this is just sort of the beginning stages. I do think this style of anti-cheat is the future of anti-cheat going forward, not just for Call of Duty, but for gaming in general. And I think it's one of the biggest glimmers of hope that we have for the future of anti-cheat, since cheat software seems to get better and better, and they always seem to have an upper hand over the developers. When it comes to actually analyzing behaviors of gameplay, though, that's something that over time is going to get harder and harder for cheat developers to get around, because they're no longer just evading the detection of their software. Now they have to evade having the behaviors of their cheat look like somebody is cheating.
Do you think this is a stupid question to ask from creator to viewer. Do you think that he writes scripts? Like, you think this whole thing's a script? Or does he have like bullet points? Because he speaks so eloquently. Like, it sounds so good and it rolls off the tongue. I'm like, you only get to say stuff like that to where it rolls off the tongue whenever you're actively saying it without reading something. He like this, wow, exclusive. I mean, damn, this sounds great. I'm not. Right.
As this anti-cheat software improves and as we get more tools with it, cheaters and cheat developers are going to have to alter the behavior to make it look less and less like they're cheating until we eventually get to the point where it's useless to even try to cheat because you're no longer going to be getting many benefits from that cheat because you'll be limited to making your gameplay look like a regular player. So at that point, you might as well just play like a regular player.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. Like, at some point, it's like, damn, I'm doing so much. Why not just get better? Like, I'm going through all this at this point just so I can win at a video game that's not even that hard to win in. If I had the time and the brain power to do my cheating, then I could just put that exact same amount of brain power and time into getting better or watching a tip video. Which, by the way, I just want to give a huge shout out. The best tip videos there are right now is from Burger. I don't know if you know who Burger is. I'm gonna look him up. I love this dude. I'm gonna kiss this man on the lips. Dude, this guy is crushing it. Let me just put that out there. Stop watching Cup of Joe. Watch this guy. My God, dude, this guy, like the tips this man is giving are just miraculous. It is, and wow, the packaging. Look, he's not paying me. Burger, I need a cut. He is just doing so good. I have been so impressed watching stuff like this is the kind of thing that I wanted to do back in the first Verdansk, and it looks like he's just really got it down pat. And I've been very, very impressed with how good his content is. So if you're looking for like great tips, this is it. Like this man is killing it. A 51-minute video where he breaks down his gameplays. It is like an hour fixing your aim. 1v1s guy. It has been truly incredible. So if you're a cheater out there and you suck dick at Call of Duty, this guy is gonna help you improve. Okay, you're looking for somebody to get better, that's your guy. Now don't get me wrong, eventually in the future I'm gonna get my Warzone Bootcamp channel up and running. All right, but in the meantime and in between time, I've been so impressed with Burger lately. So I just wanted to give my boy a shout out here. Like, good gracious, dude, he is literally killing it. 222K, deserves so much more. But he's saying all that I was trying to say, which is, you know, like cheating is to the point where you have to try so hard to get ahead of the curve that it's like not even the wildest thing to just give up on cheating and either stop playing the game or just try and get a little better. I think the big thing is people just have this, like I said at the beginning of the video, this victim mentality where they want to feel like they should be the best because we were told growing up that we were all special butterflies and we shit rainbows and stuff like that. And it's just not the case. At the end of the day, it's okay to not be special, dude. It's okay to be okay with your lack of individuality, you know? It's okay that you aren't the best in the world. And that means you don't have to cheat in a video game. You can just play it casually and not think about it. You can try and get better if you really want to be competitive in that game. Just know that skill-based matchmaking ramps up as well. There's just like, there's this weird thing that all these people are trying so hard and putting so much energy into cheating that at some point I wonder where they just give up. You have to get so deep in there now, I feel like. That's what she said. Sorry. You have to get so deep in there that it's not even worth it. So in my opinion, long term, I think cheating is not going to be worth it for the majority of the people that would cheat back in Warzone 1 and do like the 360 aimbot, crazy spin bot shit, right? I think that's going to slowly become more and more niche. And I think that because of stuff like that, because the anti-cheat's getting a little bit better and the like cheat developers are requiring more of you to stay on top of it, I think maybe we'll see a little tide turning. But I'm not saying that that's what's happening now, because even in my video that I just posted, I ran into a cheater. You know what I'm saying? Like cheaters still exist. I'm not trying to take away from that. I think you're going to see them. Here's my overarching thing, right? This is, you know, TLDR. If you didn't want to watch the whole video, welcome to the end of it. Cheating right now is not great, but it's not the worst it's ever been. It's worse than it was when Verdansk first dropped, but it's kind of getting better because of the tools that they've been implementing into Call of Duty. Do I think that Activision is doing an incredible job? No. Are they doing an all right job? They're doing okay. Do I think you should quit Call of Duty because of cheaters? No. Do I think you're probably calling out a bunch of people that are cheating that aren't actually cheating? Yeah. Is it just because you want to feel better about yourself? 100%. We all do it. It's all right. At the end of the day, do what you want. I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just saying you probably shouldn't be blaming everything on cheaters when in reality it's probably just you got slammed. It happens. It's all good. Someone's going to get upset that I said that, but you know, subscribe and stuff. Thanks.